Today, I have an advanced English masterclass for you to help you get fluent in 2024. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, in this masterclass, I'm going to share 7 free ways to help you improve your English in 2024. Here we go. Number 1, watch clips on YouTube. You've probably heard that you should use TV shows and movies to improve your English. What I'm recommending is you use a clip of a TV show or a movie, and you can find these for free right here on YouTube. What's a clip? A clip is a shorter segment of a full TV show or a full movie. So a clip could be 30 seconds, 3 minutes, or 13 minutes. Why should you use clips? Because it's more effective. If you watch a 30-minute TV show or a 2-hour movie, you're going to be exposed to a lot of English, but you probably won't remember anything specific from that TV show or movie. If you study a 30-second clip or a 3-minute clip, you can improve your vocabulary and learn a lot of grammatical structures. Plus, because it's only 30 seconds or 3 minutes, you can watch it again and again, and that repetition will help with your long-term memory. Number 2, watch TED Talks. What's a TED Talk? A TED Talk is a presentation on an educational topic, and these presentations are a maximum of 18 minutes. So when you watch a TED Talk, you're going to see a professional speaker share a presentation in English, which will give you a lot of tips and advice on how to improve your public speaking as well. Plus, these presentations are more formal, more academic, so you'll be exposed to more advanced vocabulary and advanced grammatical structures as well. And because they are on specific topics, you can find TED Talks that are very interesting, and you'll learn at the same time. You'll enjoy watching the TED Talk, and that will make it educational for your own purposes and for improving your English. And as a pro tip, join the discussion in the comments, because in the comments, everyone is going to discuss that TED Talk, talk about what they liked about it, their opinion on that. And you can read the discussion comments and also participate and add your perspective as well. Number 3, read blogs. Blogs are short articles on specific topics. So if you have a hobby and you're a photographer, you can find a photography blog and you can read short articles about photography. Now, you can find a blog for professional reasons as well. So if you're in marketing, you can find a marketing blog or a graphic design blog. Or if you're a pilot, you can even find a blog for pilots. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your vocabulary, and that's how blogs will help you. And because they're all very short and they're on topics that you are really interested about, you'll really want to read them as well. So you'll learn about interesting topics and you'll improve your vocabulary, learn advanced grammatical structures, and you'll see your new word being used in context, which is so important for learning. And just like with the TED Talks, blogs often have comment sections, so you can join the comments and you can comment on topics that are of interest to you, but you're practicing your English at the same time. Number 4, listen to music. This one, you can just listen to any music. All of the streaming services now have playlists, so you can go onto Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and just find a playlist and have it in the background. So you can use this as more passive practice. You don't have to specifically listen to the words, listen to the lyrics. Just have it on in the background while you're checking your email or doing the dishes or driving, and your brain is learning. Even if you're not paying attention to it, your brain is learning pronunciation, your brain is learning sentence structure, your brain is improving listening skills, your brain is learning a lot passively. So music is great for more of a passive way to learn. Number 5, write in English. Writing is such a great way to improve your English because you're using your vocabulary, you're using your grammar, you're using advanced sentence structure. So it's active practice. You're using everything that you've learned in the previous tips. Most students don't know what to write about. So here's something you can write about every single day. Summarize your day. You can imagine you're writing to a friend, your sibling, your parents, your spouse, a coworker, your boss, and just tell them about your day. You don't have to send it to them, just write it. So set aside 5 minutes or 20 minutes a day and just summarize your day. You can answer these questions. What did I do? Why did I do it? Did I like it? What did I learn? What would I do differently? And every day you can simply summarize your day. So now you have a reason to practice your writing every single day. Number 6, find a speaking partner. Students always tell me they want to improve their speaking skills. But guess what? Thousands of other students who also want to practice their speaking skills are watching this video right now. All you need to do is look in the comment section and you have hundreds of potential speaking partners. So right now, put in the comments, I want a speaking partner, and then people will reply to you. You can reply to other people, and then you can coordinate a specific day and time to meet. You can do this every single week. There are many free resources online where you can find a speaking partner like My Language Exchange. I personally used this when I was learning French, and I did find speaking partners easily. So you can find a speaking partner as well. Number 7, teach what you've learned. This is my personal favorite because the best way to fully understand a concept, to fully consider yourself an expert in a concept, is if you can teach it. If you can teach someone else how to use the present perfect, well then you, my friend, have mastered the present perfect. But you don't have to be an expert on a topic in order to teach it. You can teach your friend, your brother, sister, parents, coworker, a stranger. You can teach them one word. That's okay, but teaching them that one word reinforces it for you. And if you're thinking right now, I don't have anyone I could teach, well, guess what? You can teach yourself. Remember, tip number 5 was to write in English? Why not write an explanation of what you learned today in the way of teaching? For example, you could write, today I watched a really great YouTube video by JForrest English. Jennifer shared 7 different ways to improve my English. Her first tip was to learn from TV clips rather than the whole show. A clip is a smaller section of a full TV show. Notice how you're summarizing tip number 1 and you're including the definition of what a clip is, which will make it so much more likely that you will remember what a clip is, and you will also remember all the tips that I shared in this lesson. So you can absolutely teach yourself every single day by summarizing what you learned. Now that you have all these free ways to improve your English, let me share a very simple and effective study plan that you can use every single day to get amazing results and become fluent a lot faster. So let me share the study plan now. Step 1, you're going to find 3 to 5 blogs that you find interesting. What's a blog? Blogs are educational websites that provide short articles on specific topics or themes. How can you find blogs to use? Well, first, simply identify your personal and professional interests. So let's say in your personal life, you're interested in gardening and piano. And in your professional life, you're an accountant and you're interested in leadership. So now you have 4 topics for blogs. All you need is to go onto Google and search gardening blogs, blogs about piano, blogs for accountants, leadership blogs, and you can review the options and bookmark your favorite one from each category. Step 2, you're going to read 1 to 3 paragraphs of a specific blog article. Now, in those paragraphs, your goal is to find 3 to 5 words that you want to learn and add to your vocabulary. If you find 3 to 5 words in the first paragraph, well, then you can stop reading. But if you've read 3 paragraphs and you still don't have 3 to 5 words, then keep reading until you find the words you want to learn. You're probably wondering how you should choose words. You want to choose words that are commonly used and that are relevant to your daily life. This will make sure you're learning words that will actually benefit you because you can start using them in your speech. Step 3, learn the meaning of your new words and learn how it's used in a sentence. This is why we're using blogs, because you don't want to just take one single word and understand what it means. Because in English, one word can have multiple meanings. But when you see that word in context, in a sentence, it has one specific meaning. So you're going to learn that specific meaning of the word. So let's say I find an article in a leadership blog and I'm reading it and there is this one word that I don't know, discreet. And it seems like a common word that I could use in my speech, so I want to learn it. First, I'm going to look this word up in the dictionary, and I'm going to see what the definition is, what type of word it's used, and I'm going to review the example sentences of that word being used. To make sure you really understand how this word is being used in a specific context, you can also ask ChatGPT. So you can go on ChatGPT and you can type in, what does discreet mean in this sentence? And then paste in the specific sentence from the blog. And ChatGPT will give you a detailed explanation of what that word means in the specific context. You can even ask follow-up questions if you're not sure about the meaning. Remember, I said that you should choose 3 to 5 words. Right now, you might think, that's not enough words, Jennifer. I want to improve my English as quickly as possible. But this is a daily study routine, meaning you're going to repeat these steps every single day, ideally 5 days a week. So if you learn 5 words a day, 5 days a week, that's 25 words in 1 week. Now, maybe you still might think that's not enough, but in 1 year, that's 1,300 words. That's a lot of words. Step 4, you're going to learn the pronunciation of your new words with Youglish. What's Youglish? Youglish is a free website where you can search for a specific word or a specific phrase, and you can get results of native speakers using that word or phrase in natural context. So you'll hear the pronunciation, but you'll also hear many different accents and styles of speech, which is so beneficial. And your goal is to listen to 5 to 10 different Youglish examples for each word. So you'll hear 5 to 10 different accents and different styles of speech, which will really help you with your listening skills. Now, as a pro tip, you can also review the example sentences to learn sentence structure, grammar concepts. So you're not just using Youglish for pronunciation and your listening skills, you can also learn grammar and sentence structure at the same time. Step 5, you're going to repeat the Youglish sentences out loud. And you're doing this so you can practice your pronunciation. So you'll listen to the sentence on Youglish, you'll hit pause, and you'll say what you just heard out loud. And you'll try to imitate the speaker. This is called shadowing or simply imitation, and it's a very effective way to improve your pronunciation. Repeat the sentence out loud until you feel comfortable with the pronunciation and do it a minimum of 3 times. Step 6, write 3 example sentences for each word. Writing is such a powerful way to make sure you permanently remember your new words. Now, when you write, you should pay attention to your sentence structure, your grammar, and your writing skills as well. And as a bonus tip, you should write each sentence using different sentence structures, different verb tenses, or different grammatical structures. So you can ask a question for one of your examples. You can write a negative sentence. You can write a sentence using the present simple or the present perfect. So you're practicing your grammar and sentence structure at the same time. Step 7, you're going to form realistic sentences out loud. You've already practiced your speaking with Youglish, you've improved your pronunciation, you've imitated the native speakers, but now it's your turn to practice speaking without seeing the sentences written down. So you're going to form realistic sentences. What do I mean by realistic sentences? I mean, how will you actually use the new word in your personal life? How can you use the new word in your professional life? So imagine you're talking to your friend, your sibling, your spouse, and you want to use the word discreet. What would you say to them? Maybe you would say, I went to 3 discreet stores today, but I couldn't find the shoes I wanted. Now remember, you're not writing this down, you're saying it out loud to practice your speaking. Now that was an example in your personal life. Let's say you're in a meeting at work. How would you realistically use this word? Maybe you would say, after interviewing 5 discrete companies, I can confidently say that JForrest English is the best. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let me summarize all 7 steps of your new study routine, and this is available as a PDF download as well, so you can look in the description to download it. First, read 1 to 3 paragraphs from a blog, then choose 3 to 5 new words. Next, learn your new words with the dictionary or ChatGPT. Learn correct pronunciation with Youglish. Practice your pronunciation by shadowing the Youglish examples. Write 3 example sentences using different sentence structures for each word. And finally, form realistic sentences out loud. Now let me share my best tips and advice so you can get fast results with your new study routine. First of all, I already said this, but this was designed for you to do every day for a minimum of 3 days a week, ideally 5 days a week. You have 5 days a week. You can do this, right? Put I can do it, put I can do it, I can do it in the comments. Put I can do it so I know you're committed. And my best tip for you is to choose the specific time you're going to spend on your new study routine and put the time in your calendar. If you see it in your calendar and you treat it like an appointment, like a doctor's appointment or a meeting at work, then you're more likely to follow through. And finally, this study routine was designed for you to do at one time in one session, but you should absolutely practice your new words throughout the day as well. And it would be a really great practice to do a weekly review as well. So you can spend 5 days on the study routine and then a 6th day where you just review all the words that you've learned. Because remember, that's 25 new words. Now you have all the tools that you need to improve your English. Let me help you improve specific English skills. Let's start with your listening skills. In this next section, you're going to test your listening skills of fast English so you can understand native speakers the first time. Let's get started. Here's how this lesson will work. First, I'm going to say a sentence. I'll say it 3 times, and you need to dictate what I said. So you need to write down exactly what I said in the comments. Are you ready? Let's try the first exercise. Maybe I'm just in a rut. Maybe I'm just in a rut. Maybe I'm just in a rut. Did you get this one? I said, maybe I'm just in a rut. Of course, I'm is a contraction. I am, I'm. And notice how in a sounds like one word. In a. I'm in a rut. In a rut. The expression here is to be in a rut. Now you can also say to be stuck in a rut. Stuck is optional. When you're in a rut, it means you've been doing an activity like your job or a hobby or a task. You've been doing it too long and you feel like you need to change.
Why are you in a rut?
Same thing every day, knowing exactly what to expect. That's a rut.
So let's say every day you work all day, you eat dinner, but then at night, every night you watch Netflix. That could be your rut. We watch Netflix every night. We're stuck in a rut. We're in a rut.
Are we in a rut?
So to help you get out of that rut, you just need to do something different. So you might say, let's go to the park tonight. So instead of watching Netflix, you go to the park, you enjoy the beautiful day to help you get out of your rut.
You're a writer. Ruts are normal.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. My boss is stuck in his ways. My boss is stuck in his ways. My boss is stuck in his ways. How'd you do with this one? I said, my boss is stuck in his ways. Notice how boss is, we say it as one word, bosses. Bosses. It's the exact same pronunciation as the plural form of the noun bosses. I have 2 bosses. But here with the verb to be, my boss is stuck in his ways, it's the exact same pronunciation. The expression to be stuck in one's ways. Notice ways is plural and it's one, possessive. My boss is stuck in his ways. This is when someone is unwilling to change how they do things or how they think about things.
Kind of stuck in his ways.
For example, my boss won't let me work remotely. He's stuck in his ways.
Because he's too stuck in his ways, Gloria. This is good for him.
So he has a specific way of thinking about how work should be done, and he's unwilling to change his thinking. Now, the same expression can also use the verb set, to be stuck or to be set in one's ways, and it has the exact same meaning.
Oh, you're young. Me, I'm set in my ways.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Need a hand? Need a hand? Need a hand? This one was easy, right? I said need a hand, and notice need a sounded like one word, need a. Need a hand?
Need a hand?
Grammatically, this is missing the auxiliary verb and the subject. Do you need a hand? But native speakers commonly drop that and just say, need a hand? And this is the same as saying, need any help? Do you need any help? Exactly the same meaning. Now to answer and to accept that help, you could say, sure, I could use a hand. And this is the same as, sure, I could use some help.
Hey, Tamar, I could really use a hand in here.
And if you want to request the assistance using this expression, you can say, can you give me a hand? Can you give me a hand? And this is the same as, can you help me? Can you help me?
Hey, Rach, can you give me a hand with this box?
And you can give me a hand right now by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing this video with your friends. That would really give me a hand. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. How can I get my foot in the door? How can I get my foot in the door? How can I get my foot in the door? Did you get this one? I said, how can I get my foot in the door? Do you know this expression? To get one's or a foot in the door. This is used when you join an organization, a company, you take a specific job that's at a low level, but you're doing that because you hope that low level will turn into a higher position. That's getting your foot in the door.
You've already got a foot in the door.
For example, I'm a journalist, but I took a job as a receptionist to get my foot in the door.
I was just trying to get one foot in the door.
But you have to be careful with this strategy because you don't want to say, I took this job 5 years ago to get my foot in the door, but now I'm stuck in a rut. That would mean that you're still a receptionist 5 years later, so you haven't moved up. So your strategy of taking a lower position to get your foot in the door hasn't been very successful. Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice your pronunciation. I'll say each sentence again, and I want you to repeat the sentence out loud. Let's do that now. Maybe I'm just in a rut. Maybe I'm just in a rut. Maybe I'm just in a rut. My boss is stuck in his ways. My boss is stuck in his ways. My boss is stuck in his ways. Need a hand? Need a hand? Need a hand? How can I get my foot in the door? How can I get my foot in the door? How can I get my foot in the door? Awesome job improving your listening skills. Now let's review a news article together so you can improve your vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation all at the same time. Let's review the article now. First, I'll read the headline. What's all the hype about green coffee? Let's talk about this word, the hype. You might be wondering what this is. Hype is a noun, and it is to repeatedly advertise or discuss something in a way that creates a lot of positive expectation. So let's look at this example here. There's so much hype about the new James Bond movie. Notice you can have hype about something like this article, hype about green coffee. You can also use the preposition surrounding, the hype surrounding the new James Bond movie. They're the exact same. So if there's a lot of hype about the new James Bond movie, it means everywhere you look, you see an advertisement for the new movie. Or people are discussing it. Oh, I can't wait to see the new movie. I heard the new movie's really great. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to it. And it creates this positive expectation. So apparently that's what's happening now with green coffee. So if I hear what's all the hype about green coffee, it sounds to me like a lot of people are talking about how amazing green coffee is. If you go into coffee shops or stores, they're selling and advertising the green coffee. That's the hype. Now, don't worry about taking down all these notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF, so you can look in the description for the link. Let's continue and find out what the hype's all about. Green coffee beans are coming back stronger than a 90s trend. Now, a trend is something that is popular, extremely popular for a specific period of time. So think back to the 90s, if you can, and think about what were the hairstyles, the clothing styles, what were the trends in the 90s. Now, this article is suggesting that 90s trends are coming back. Coming back, this is, of course, another way of saying returning. So now you see hairstyles from the 90s or clothing from the 90s right now. Have you noticed that? And they're saying that green coffee beans are coming back stronger than a 90s trend. So they're even more popular than 90s trends, which are also apparently returning. But it also sounds like in the past, green coffee beans were popular. Maybe they were trendy, a trend, then they weren't popular. And now because they're coming back, it means they're returning to popularity. Let's continue. You might wonder why you keep seeing green coffee beans or raw coffee beans everywhere and what it means. What about you? Have you seen green coffee beans everywhere? I personally haven't. But maybe now I will start seeing them everywhere. Let's take a look here. You might wonder. You can also say you might be wondering. You might be wondering. And both of them are grammatically correct. So if you say you might be wondering, the emphasis is on right now. Right now you might be wondering. You might wonder why. This sounds like more in general, but ultimately they are both grammatically correct. Personally, I would use this one in this context because I feel like the emphasis should be on right now because it's not in general you wonder this, is right now as you're reading this article. But just remember that that's just a personal preference. Both of them are grammatically correct and it's just how you want the person to interpret it. Let's continue. Wait, are people really drinking raw, unroasted coffee beans? Yes, and even better, this unroasted coffee beverage is easy to make at home. Okay, let's stop here. Let's talk about this phrase, even better. This is used when you want to emphasize that what comes next is better than what was previously said, although they're both good. So this is a great way to really emphasize something because you have one positive thing, then you say even better, and then you list another positive thing, and you're putting more emphasis on the second positive thing. For example, the promotion comes with a raise, that's positive, and even better, I can work from home. So this tells the person that you actually value working from home more so than a raise, which means more money. Maybe because you have young children at home and it's way easier for you to work from home, and that is a better scenario than just getting a little bit more money. So, and even better. The and is optional. You can say and even better or just even better. And even better, this unroasted coffee beverage is easy to make at home.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson.
And even better, this unroasted coffee beverage is easy to make at home and comes with loads of health benefits. Loads is another way of saying a lot of or many health benefits.
Just be careful with that of, because if you use many, you don't need of, but a lot of, loads of. I have loads of emails to read, for example. The only thing better than a new trend is a new trend that is good for your body. So they're saying it's positive that we have a new trend, and it's even better to use this again. So the second point is stronger, and it's even better that the new trend is good for your body. Green coffee beans are regular coffee beans that have not been roasted. So here you finally learn what green coffee beans are, have not been roasted. So you could also say that have not been roasted, or you can say that are unroasted, You could also say raw, are regular coffee beans that are raw, are unroasted, that have not been roasted. They taste like a mix between herbal tea and coffee. So if you have a mix between, it means some of the taste is herbal tea and some of the taste is coffee. That would be a mix between. And they're using between because they're specifying the two items. Let's continue. Now we come to the benefits, the loads of health benefits. Chronic inflammation is a key factor in arthritis, cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune diseases. First, let's talk about a key factor. Here, key means important. Now, factor is a situation that has influence. So here, the factor is chronic inflammation. Chronic, when describing a health condition, a health problem, chronic means that it continues for a long time. So inflammation, not just temporarily, it's chronic inflammation. It's always there, and it was there years ago, and most likely it's going to be there years in the future as well. That's chronic. Chronic inflammation is a key factor in, and then the specific health conditions: arthritis, cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune diseases. Treating inflammation. So notice you treat an illness. If you treat an illness, it means you want to reduce it. You want to improve the health of the person by reducing the illness or the symptoms. That's treating the symptoms. Treating inflammation can prevent and treat life-threatening diseases and makes for a more comfortable quality of life. Let's talk about this verb right here, and makes for a more comfortable quality of life. Why do you think that this verb has an S on it? Do you know? Why does this verb have an S on it? It's because when you have this and, you need to go back because the subject of the sentence is how you would conjugate the verb that comes after and. So this verb that comes after and relates back to treating inflammation. So this, treating inflammation, this is the subject of the sentence because this is our first verb. Now, can is a modal verb, so you don't conjugate it. That's why there's not cans, because you don't conjugate it. It's a modal verb. But treating inflammation makes for a more comfortable quality of life. That alone is a complete sentence. So this, treating inflammation, this as a subject is it. It makes for a more comfortable quality of life. I made those notes for you. Now let's continue. Raw, unroasted coffee beans. So here we see the raw coffee beans, unroasted coffee beans. Those are the green beans. Raw, unroasted coffee beans have both antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. Notice how you say the word anti and then you say the next word. So oxidant, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that can benefit our bodies in the long and short term. So long term, there's no set definition for what length of time that is, but maybe that could be 6 months, 1 year, but it could also be 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. So it can be in the near future or in the later future. And short term, there's also no specific time for that. It could be 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. It just depends on the context. So let's look at this sentence. What are your short-term and long-term goals? Very common question. Now, in this case, short-term is an adjective, and that's why you see it with this dash. It describes what the goal is. It gives more information. So when I hear a short-term goal, I think about right now. I want this to happen now, tomorrow, next week, and maybe up to a year. But you could have a different definition of a short-term goal. And when I hear long-term goal, I think maybe in 5 years or in 10 years. It could even be longer. But again, you might have a slightly different definition because they're not specific. But notice here, in the long term, in the short term, this is a phrase, and that's why you don't see the dashes between. This is just a spelling issue. There's nothing different with pronunciation, but because this is an adjective, that's why you see it with the dash. So that's in the long and short term. And it's very common to discuss both long term and short term with your health and also with things like goals and priorities. So those are the health benefits. Now you're probably wondering, how can you make green coffee? So let's look at the directions. Gently rinse 1 cup of green coffee beans, then place in a pot. Now notice for directions, I'll ask you before I tell you, what verb tense is being used here? Gently is not a verb tense. Gently is an adverb. So we can ignore the word gently and we can look at the verb. And what verb tense is being used and why? It's the imperative. The imperative verb tense is the verb tense we use with directions. Now, you need to know that for the imperative, you don't have a subject and you use the base verb. So in this first step, you have 2 verbs, both in the imperative. Rinse 1 cup of green coffee beans, gently rinse, place in a pot. Place in a pot. Okay, so we have our 1 cup of rinsed green coffee beans in a pot. Pour, this is our verb, pour in the imperative. Pour 3 cups of water over the unroasted coffee beans and bring to a boil. This is our verb in the imperative. Bring to a boil. When you bring something to a boil, it means once it starts boiling, that is the point at which you brought it to a boil. So the point when it starts boiling, that's bring it to a boil. Simmer, this is our next verb, the verb to simmer, for 12 minutes over medium heat. When you simmer something, it means you cook it at a lower temperature. So you bring it to a boil, it starts boiling, and then you immediately turn the heat down. You turn it down to medium and you let it simmer. So you just let it cook for 12 minutes at a lower temperature. Pour, again, pour the verb in the imperative. Pour the liquid. So the liquid, because here you have the water and the coffee beans. So just pour the liquid into a cup and drink immediately. So pour the liquid into a cup and so drink immediately. This is our other verb in this sentence that's in the imperative. And drink immediately, I guess immediately because they don't want you to drink it cold. That's probably why they said immediately. So now you have the directions, very simple, to make green coffee. So you can give it a shot. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. This is a great expression. it means try it. So remember I said, so now you have the instructions, you can try it. You can give it a shot. So put this in the comments, give it a shot, and you can let me know also if you are going to give it a shot. So put that in the comments, give it a shot. So that is the article. So what I'll do now is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time focus on my pronunciation. Let's do that now. What's all the hype about green coffee? Green coffee beans are coming back stronger than a 90s trend. You might wonder why you keep seeing green coffee beans or raw coffee beans everywhere and what it means. Wait, are people really drinking raw, unroasted coffee beans? Yes. And even better, this unroasted coffee beverage is easy to make at home and comes with loads of health benefits. The only thing better than a new trend is a new trend that is good for your body. Green coffee beans are regular coffee beans that have not been roasted. They taste like a mix between herbal tea and coffee. Chronic inflammation is a key factor in arthritis, cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune diseases. Treating inflammation can prevent and treat life-threatening diseases and makes for a more comfortable quality of life. Raw, unroasted coffee beans have both antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that can benefit our bodies in the long and short term. Directions. Gently rinse 1 cup of green coffee beans, then place in a pot. Pour 3 cups of water over the unroasted coffee beans and bring to a boil. Simmer for 12 minutes over medium heat. Pour the liquid into a cup and drink immediately.
Now I have green coffee beans right here because my husband roasts his own coffee. So here's some of the coffee that my husband roasted. So how about I follow the directions and make a cup of green coffee for the very first time. As you can see, I just brought the water to a boil. Now I'm going to reduce the heat and let it simmer for 12 minutes. And here is the green coffee. This is the very first time I'm going to drink this, and honestly, I'm not really looking forward to it because it did not smell very good when I was making it. But here it goes. Oh my, that is not good. Oh my goodness, I don't want to have another sip of that. It's really strong, extremely strong. It definitely does have a herbal taste to it. So I see the mix between herbal tea and coffee, but that's not very pleasant. You can try it for yourself, but I don't think I'm going to drink any more green coffee.
Amazing job. You've already learned a lot of vocabulary in this masterclass, but let's end by expanding your vocabulary with phrasal verbs that native speakers use every single day. Let's do that now. First, in this lesson, I'm going to quiz you to see how well you know these common phrasal verbs. But don't worry, because after the quiz, I'm going to explain each phrasal verb in detail, and then you can do the quiz again so you can see how much you improved from the beginning of this lesson to the end of this lesson. So let's start the quiz now. Question 1. I really appreciate how much time you spend. The annual report. Now I'm only going to give you 3 seconds to answer, which isn't very much time. So feel free to hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready to see the answer, hit play. Grinding away at. Question 2. I know the fire alarm was scary, but you need to pull yourself together. Question 3, my coworker is so annoying. He always, Justin Bieber songs in the office. Belts out. Question 4, I couldn't think of the word for bridge in my presentation, so I acted it out. Question 5, we need to be honest with the team. We shouldn't the auditor's recommendations. Talk down. Question 6. The fact that my husband forgot my birthday has been all week. Gnawing at me. Question 7. The team, numerous penalties during the competition. Racked up. Question 8. I think the comedian's humor. I've been telling jokes since the show. Rubbed off on me. Question 9. No need to apologize, everyone, from time to time. Slips up. And finally, question 10. I'll be in your city next week for a conference. I hope you have time to catch up. So how'd you do with the quiz? Now don't worry if it was difficult. Don't worry if you got 0 questions right, because now I'm going to explain each phrasal verb in detail, and I promise after the next quiz you'll do a lot better. So let's review each phrasal verb now. Number 1, to act out. This is when you perform or explain something using actions and gestures. For example, right now I'm acting out it's raining using my actions and my gestures. I'm teaching you this one because when you don't speak a language fluently, often we act out what we mean to help the other person understand. For example, I couldn't think of the word for sunrise, so I acted it out. How you're going to act out sunrise, I'm not sure. You can try though. Another example, I'm not sure what you mean. Could you try acting it out? This could be a smart way for you to understand what someone else is saying. Number 2, to belt out. I love this one because it means to sing loudly. For example, the crowd belted out the national anthem before the game. So the crowd sang the national anthem loudly. They belted it out. And here's another example that is true for me. I love driving alone because I can belt out my favorite songs. I can sing those songs very loudly. Number 3, to catch up with someone. This is a must-know phrasal verb. This is when you meet someone after a period of time to find out what they've been doing. So let's say you and your friend haven't seen each other for 1 month. Well, you don't know what your friend has been doing for that 1 month. So you could text your friend and say, we need to catch up. Are you free tomorrow? This is a very common way that 2 native speakers will arrange a social gathering. You could also simply say, let's catch up soon. And this means let's meet soon so I can find out what you've been doing and you can find out what I've been doing since the last time we saw each other. Number 4, to grind away at something. This is when you work on something for a long time or with a lot of effort. For example, I had to grind away at my taxes all weekend. So this means I worked on my taxes, but because I said grind away at, you know it took me a long time and a lot of effort. You could also say, I've been grinding away at this report all week, but it's still not done. So you've spent a lot of time on this report, you've put in a lot of effort, but it's still not done. You've been grinding away at it. Number 5, to gnaw at. This means to trouble, worry, or annoy someone. First of all, notice that silent G. Gnaw, gnaw. It starts with an N sound. Gnaw at, to gnaw at. For example, his text message has been gnawing at me all day. So his text message has been troubling me, worrying me, or annoying me. You don't exactly know which one it is, but based on context and based on my emotion, my facial emotion, you would know. His text message has been gnawing at me all day. Or let's say you were in a meeting and your coworker said something negative about you in front of everyone, and it's been bothering you. Well, your friend could say, don't let his comment gnaw at you. Don't let his comment bother you or annoy you. Number 6, to pull oneself together. This means to become calm or to regain control of your emotions.
Calm down, calm down, calm down.
So let's say your coworker made that angry or rude or mean comment towards you in front of everyone else, and you became very emotional. You became very upset or very agitated or very angry even. Your friend could say, pull yourself together, to let you know you need to regain control of your emotions because you're being too upset, too angry. We also commonly use this in the imperative, pull yourself together. So notice with the imperative, you start with the base verb. Pull yourself together, you need to pull yourself together. Both of those are very common. And then an hour later, your friend could say, hey, I was calling you, where were you? And you could say, oh, I went for a walk alone to pull myself together, to regain control of my emotions and simply to become calm. Number 7, to rack up. This means to acquire a lot of something, and that something is generally negative. For example, I racked up a lot of parking tickets while I was on vacation. So maybe you're in a new city and you're not familiar with the parking rules and regulations. So you racked up a lot of parking tickets. Parking tickets are, of course, negative. Or you could say, when I was a student, I racked up a lot of student debt. Again, student debt is, of course, a negative, and you racked it up, you acquired it. Number 8, to rub off on. This is when a quality or a characteristic is passed from one person to another person. For example, her passion and enthusiasm rubbed off on me. So this means my friend was being very passionate and enthusiastic. And because of that, I became very passionate and enthusiastic. So her passion and enthusiasm rubbed off on me. But we also use this with negative qualities and characteristics. For example, don't let Frank's anxiety rub off on you. So Frank is always anxious and he's sharing his anxieties in public with his team. If you're not careful, his anxieties could rub off on you, which means you will become anxious simply because Frank is anxious and you're in the same room as Frank. Number 9, to slip up. This means to make a careless error or mistake. For example, I can't believe I slipped up and told her about her surprise party. So there was a surprise party being planned for this person, and because it's a surprise, you're not supposed to let the person know. But I slipped up and I told her about the party. I made a mistake and it was a careless mistake. I should have known better. Another example, you purchased 1,000 units instead of 100 units. That was a real slip up. What do you notice here? A slip up. Here, it's being used as the noun form to simply mean a mistake, a careless mistake. And finally, number 10, to talk down. This is when you try to make something sound less important than it really is in reality. For example, the CEO tried to talk down the recent layoffs. Layoffs is when you fire people from a company because there is no longer work for them. So that sounds like the company could be in trouble. But if you try to talk down the recent layoffs, it means you try to make them sound less severe, less important than they really are. Or remember when I accidentally ordered 1,000 units instead of 100 units? Well, I could say I tried to talk down my slip up. Remember, here slip up is being used as the noun form of the phrasal verb to slip up, and it means a careless mistake. I tried to talk down my slip up, my careless mistake. So I tried to make my mistake, the fact I ordered 10 times as many units as needed, I tried to make that sound like not a big deal, not a big mistake. I tried to talk down my slip up. Now that you're more comfortable with these phrasal verbs, let's do that same quiz again so you can see how much you've improved since the beginning of this lesson. Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, hit play to see the answers. Here are the answers. Hit pause and take as much time as you need to review them.
Amazing job with this masterclass. Now, did you like this class? Would you like me to create more masterclasses? If you do, then let's do it. Let's do it. Put that in the comments so I know you want me to make more lessons just like this. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And I have another great lesson that will help you get fluent in 2024, so you can click here to watch it right now.